want to introduce our next movie?
All right. Our next movie, also from 1992, was Encino Man, starring Sean Astin, Pauly Shore, and Brendan Fraser, among some other guest stars. But that's kind of the main three. This one, to me, of the movies we've been covering, felt extremely 90s. Like, to me, this was flat out 90s. And again, I don't know if this is reflective of or was setting the tone for, because it's still pretty early in the 90s. Under my heading in my notes of 90s relevance, I wrote Pauly Shore, Pauly Shore, Pauly Shore, Pauly Shore. Is anything more reflective of the 90s than Pauly Shore? We could have done 6 Pauly Shore movies.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And called it Essential 90s, right?
Can I even think of 6 Pauly Shore movies? I can think of the ones everybody knows, but yeah, I mean, there's just he is.
In fact, I'm going to challenge you to try. I'm going to challenge you to try because when I wrote this down, I tried to name 6 and I was able to barely name 6. Yep.
Son-in-Law, In the Army Now, Biodome.
Yep. Encino Man. I'll give you that one because we're talking about it.
And I don't know if I can do 2 more.
Jury Duty.
Oh, I forgot about Jury Duty. I've never even watched that. I don't even think.
And that was actually where I ran out of steam. And then I looked in a Goofy movie. He plays an animated version of himself in a Goofy movie, and it's hilarious.
He does the Leaning Tower of Chisa.
Yes. Oh my God!
Stupid.
Which, by the way, that's one of my favorite movies of all time as well.
Oh,
it's so underrated, a Goofy movie.
I had definitely not seen this one since the 90s. Like, I had not gotten around to watching it, and it was just like, I knew, like, I had that feeling in the pit of my soul. So this is not like, it doesn't need to be revisited that bad.
So
but
I've seen all those Pauly Shore movies we just watched, but honestly, I had never seen Encino Man all the way through in one single sitting. So like, I had seen the bits and parts. I know what happens, what it is, whatever. But I was trying to think. I don't think I ever actually, I certainly didn't see it in the theaters, and I don't think I ever actually sat down and watched from beginning to end Encino Man. So this was actually a first for me. I'm pretty sure. There were definitely things in it, and one of the reasons why I think I never watched it from beginning to end was because there were definitely parts of it that I was like, I don't remember that at all. Right.
The part I remember, I didn't remember much of anything from the movie, but like, I remember so much that they were like sticking their heads under the Slurpee machines at the convenience store. And,
I remember that.
Oh my God. I'm just like so grossed out thinking about it, but it also is like what I think of like every time.
Yep. I remember that. I remember them finding Brendan Fraser, like he broke out of his ice cube when they weren't home and they come home and he's ransacked the house kind of thing. But I didn't remember the very beginning, the way they find the ice cube that he's in. I didn't remember that he was digging an in-ground pool with a small garden spade, hoping to have it ready in time to impress the whole school for tomorrow's prom. It would have been a muddy hole in the ground. I wrote down he's digging this massive in-ground pool with a small gardening spade. Like, who even thought of that?
Maybe you can explain this to me. Maybe you probably understand science better than I do. How was Brendan Fraser, how was he still frozen in a giant block of ice?
I'm not sure, but I'm no geologist. But I think there might actually be situations where they think there's glacial ice underground in places. I'm not sure. I could have that completely wrong.
Right.
I don't know. It's also a Pauly Shore, Brendan Fraser movie from the early 90s.
Right. It doesn't command to the level of
I don't know. So there you go. So I don't know what's less believable, that he was perfectly preserved as though if he was cryogenically frozen like Austin Powers via an ice chunk in the ground in LA.
Because he would have had to die to get...
Yeah, right. Or what's less believable, potentially, is that, do you remember, or did you know the reason why Sean Astin was digging that pool with a gardening spade?
I don't remember what they said.
The whole premise, the movie ends up building, or like the kind of the plot of what's going on in their lives, is that he is a relatively insignificant dork that feels he needs to do something big to become cool overnight and win the affection of the underlined most popular girl in school and get her to agree to go to prom with him that day. That thing is to finish digging this giant hole in the ground and turn it into a pool, and or find a caveman that he can exploit and suddenly become the coolest kid in school. That's the premise.
I remember hearing that, and I remember like I must have let my brain completely gloss over. But like, by the way, this is Sean Astin's like the last movie he made before the propaganda film Rudy came out, and
that's a good term for that, by the way. I agree.
He's not on the cover. Like all the covers I was looking up for this movie, it just has Brendan Fraser and Pauly Shore, but he is essentially the main character.
Yeah,
but it's not like he was an unknown. Like he was in
and
Goonies,
he was in the
right?
Goonies too. He was Mikey from the Goonies. I mean, he wasn't an unknown name. It is kind of surprising that he's not on any of the boxes.
Yeah, it's fucking weird, and maybe there are alternates. It could be, you know what I mean? And there might be some,
right. So we've covered pretty firmly how 90s this is. How did you feel about the actual movie? Like, did you like it? Do you think it holds up?
I do not think it holds up under any circumstance. I like the movie, like it wasn't like a complete chore to watch, but it was also like there was so much suspension of disbelief required to get through it, you know, to just like, okay, so I'm accepting that this is the plot point, that this is going to happen. And this is like you said, the premise of Sean Astin's character doing this with a day's notice and, you know, hoping that this like wins the affections of a girl. And it also, this girl is like way out of Sean Astin's league. No offense to him. I don't the whole movie, like it was, as I was watching it, I was just like, I don't think I'm ever going to sit through this again. Like
I didn't think it was that good. Having said that, though, as far as the suspension of disbelief of the ridiculous things we just talked about, I do feel like the second you introduce Pauly Shore on screen, you are at liberty to be as ridiculous as you want to be, right?
That's
like, know you're in for shtick and goofiness the second you see Pauly Shore. So I didn't think it aged that well. It feels old, right?
Which is also a Pauly Shore trademark.
Right. Having said that, though, I still find Pauly Shore to be absolutely hilarious. I love watching Pauly Shore on screen. He's so goofy and just makes me giggle like a teenager. I looked up what Rotten Tomatoes had to say about this. And from Rotten Tomatoes, I'm going to read this because I feel this captures it. It says, Encino Man isn't the first unabashedly silly comedy to embrace its stupidity and amass a cult following. But whether or not it works for you will largely be determined by your tolerance for Pauly Shore. And I found
that's really well put.
Yeah. I thought it was perfect. It sums it up perfectly. And I found that I have a very large tolerance for Pauly Shore, and I love watching him do his thing. So Michelle watched this with me as I was watching it, and every time he was doing his thing, we were just giggling. Like when he's giving him the tour of the food groups via the candy in the convenience store, and he keeps saying, keep on cruising to go to the next. It was like, how does he come up with these little things that he says? So I also, for the next like couple days, I kept trying to refer to dinner as grindage.
Well, the thing I read about Pauly Shore in this movie was like, I want to say this was like his first major role in a movie. Like,
I think so.
He was on MTV or something.
Yeah. All those other ones we named came later. This was the first of those ones we named.
They wanted him for the Brendan Fraser role initially, and he said, no, my thing is talking. Like, I have to be able to say stuff. Like, that's my appeal. You know, like, I couldn't believe that anybody honestly thought it was a good idea for him to be like silent in a movie. Like, who's going to give a shit about it?
Yeah, I agree. He wouldn't. He only works when he's doing his Pauly Shore thing, when he's being the weasel, right? Like that's how he works. And as that Rotten Tomatoes post says, and it's really applicable to any Pauly Shore movie, you are either on board with Pauly Shore doing his thing or you're not. And if you are, you're going to enjoy it. If you're not, you're going to hate it. And whether or not you can even sit through it is going to hinge on that.
Right. Oh, yeah.
None of them are what I would call good movies, but I find them all enjoyable to watch.
Yeah. So I need to rewatch In the Army now for sure.
That could be a trading ratings of its own. The Pauly Shore collection.
Oh my god.
I've kind of tipped my hat to how I feel about this movie. I think I've mentioned that, overall it's kind of meh. It's not that great of a movie. I don't think it holds up great, but I do like Pauly Shore. I'm not a particular Brendan Fraser fan. I don't know if I'm unique in that or not, but I've never particularly loved him. I don't hate him, but he doesn't do a whole lot for me.
Right.
In some of those
he kind of fell
movies.
Off the face of the earth for a while too. So
yeah. I'm sure I could think of something that like I really liked him in, but overall, I've never been a huge Brendan Fraser guy. Some of the cheap gags I just thought were flat out bad. Actually, like the whole scene with the car driving around on two wheels felt very forced and lame. It felt like a very cheap gag that was kind of out of place. There were dance scenes that I wrote down. Dance scenes are awful, but in my brain, I can't even remember the dance scene. Where was there a dance scene? I just noted
it was at terrible. The very end of the movie, and the reason I say this is because I'm wearing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 shirt, and what happens at the end of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2? But Vanilla Ice performs ninja rap, and they all danced to end the movie, and that's what it reminded me of. I'm like, is this like a solely 90s thing that like
maybe
we have a dance off at the, I mean, like obviously like a movie like Footloose, like in the 80s, it's gonna have a dance
part of the
off,
plot, right?
right. Yeah,
it's about dancers. Yeah, just whenever a dance scene pops in like that, it's like it better like purposely be really zany, or it's going to land flat for me. It's just gonna be like, what were they thinking? And clearly, that's how I felt about this one. I will say Michelle loved it. she loved the whole movie, or did she love the dance scene? She loved the whole movie, which I thought was funny in itself. Because I did not think she'd like it. I thought she'd be like, "This is the dumbest thing ever," but she was like, "I love this movie." So overall, though, between the good and the bad, I didn't think it was terrible. I gave it a C. Yeah, that's where I landed on it.
Yeah,
I like Pauly Shore. I feel like it rides a C on the quality of Pauly Shore making me laugh.
Right, and I think that's I'm at a C as well. It's just I'm not feeling super duper strong about like, because it's like you take that one person out, and obviously like that's going to happen in a lot of movies, but you take Pauly Shore out of this movie, and there's very little to latch onto.
Right.
So
real quick before you give your grade, the only other trivia type thing that I did want to mention, tying it back to Wayne's World, Matt, the jerk boyfriend, the jock, plays one of the crew members in Wayne's World. But in that, he's got long blonde hair and is playing a guy like supposed to be probably in his mid to late 20s, and he's like got the cut off shirt and like the guns, his like two lines are pretty funny.
Right. Well, but he's like the stereotypical bully type. Like it's just, I mean, there are just so many random fucking things in this movie that I saw, like I should have jotted down, but it's like I just saw them and I'm like, oh my god, like it used to be like that, like, I mean, just the Slurpee machines, like that doesn't like, it's not like that's gone away, but at the same time, like Slurpees were it in the 90s, like they were really peaking. I gave it a C. I didn't think it was spectacular, but I also
I think we're eye to eye on that one.
Yeah. So yeah, that is all of Encino Man from 1992, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Bye now. Brandon at Random Reviews artwork, theme music, and podcast are written, performed, recorded, engineered, directed, and produced by Brandon Griffiths in association with Brandon at Random Reviews Entertainment.